Hey everyone, it's No Clue and welcome back to another Racing Mower update. I actually recorded one before this, but the quality I thought was terrible, so I didn't render it out and put it on YouTube. All I really did was mount the fenders, and I was going to drive around the yard and make sure my fenders didn't, or my tires didn't expand and hit the fenders anymore, because that's actually why I switched from the MTD fenders to these fenders. So I got my new fenders bolted on, I drove around the yard a little bit, and then the chain blew off. And the reason why my chain blew off was my entire engine shifted, and it let the chain hit my torque converter, and it blew the master link off, and that's no good. So this update I'm going to be making a chain tensioner, and it's not the little traditional one where you got your sprocket and it moves up and down and you got a spring tension in your chain and everything, because that's not the problem. The problem is, like I said, my engine shifted, let a little bit of slack on the chain, and then it hit my torque converter and it blew off. So instead I'm going to be putting it to, don't you fall on me. I made a tensioner that looks like this, and it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to go into a little more detail on how this works, and it actually, all it does is push my engine to the front of it, to the front of the cart, because the bolt right here is pushing the engine that way. And it'll stop my engine from shifting, and it'll also make it very easy for me to get proper chain tension all by myself, because up until now I've been having two people put my chain tension on, where someone's holding the engine forward and then I'm tightening the bolts. So this will make it easy for me to tighten the chain up all by myself, and hopefully it'll get rid of my shifting issue, because if it shifts with this on here, this broke off. So I'm going to jump into me working on it. I'm going to show you how I made this, and so I'm going to move my camera over and I'll kind of show you what this is going to do. Alright, I got my torque converter torn off here so I can get a better view of where the chain tensioner is going. But pulling my torque converter off, you can see there's a couple fine little gashes all along here where the chain's been hitting. So I'm thinking if this doesn't fix it, I'm gonna have to run a idler sprocket anyways, or maybe even a jack shaft on here. And I mean, it won't be any like reduction jack shaft or anything. It'll probably just be they'll probably both go to like a 12-tooth sprocket and then go to the rear axle. So I do have good amount of side-to-side play on my rear axle where my sprocket can go. So it's not that bad if it doesn't line up with the jack shaft. So, but my chain tensioner here, you can see I got a nut welded here, then I got a jam nut put on the inside of here, and then I got the bolt running through there. And it's going to sit right in there. It'll be a little bit closer. I still have I have to clear off some weld here and whatnot, but it's gonna basically just thread in, and then it's gonna push against my block, and it's gonna move it in and out. And I still might have to get a longer bolt because just because of clearance problems, but I don't think I'll have to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this weld up, grind a little chamfer in here so I can set it over the weld, and I might have to raise it up just a little bit because this plate is thicker than what I used in my angle iron, or maybe the same thickness, and it's a hair thicker, not a whole bunch, but enough to make my jam nut not work if I don't put a space in it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to drill another hole here, weld my nut to it, and cut this down to length, because right now I just kind of cut it into a piece of scrap. So yeah, it's gonna sit right there, and it's gonna work just fine, I'm hoping. Like I said, if not, I'll just run a jack shaft and not worry about it. So as soon as I get this done, I'll be right back. Alright, so I just ran the thing through the yard. I chopped up some footage and threw it in beforehand, and if you watched the fenders closely, you can see them. They are warping like it's ridiculous. Like, I didn't think they were that bad when I was riding it. I knew it was bad because you can hear them rattling off the frame, but I didn't realize they were warping as bad as they was until I reviewed the footage. And so that's got to be addressed immediately because that rattle is just atrocious. So, but other than that, the chain tensioner works just fine. I wasn't able to go into as much detail on how the setup works as I wanted to because I just the sun was starting to set and I want to get the engine on. I wanted to test drive the thing today, so I got that taken care of. The only drawback I found with the design on this particular setup so far is I used 1/2-inch bolts because I didn't want to mar up my aluminum block when I'm just pushing the thing forward. But and it doesn't mar up the block, but unfortunately they're so big it's hard to get a wrench down in there. So if you're going to do this, maybe some 9/16 bolts will serve you better. But 1/2-inch bolts are way too big for it. Unless you're using a 13 horsepower block, then it's no problem because you got all the room in the world for that. So I'm going to have to call an update here. I'm going to kind of kick around ideas in my head for the fenders a little bit. But hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll catch you next time.